Today, 11 to 10 on favourite, winner of his last 6. Cape Tribulation's been running at shorter distances. It's a lovely horse, 66 to 1. Cousin Vinny, winner of the bumper here in 2008. He's been chasing back to hurdles today. The grey Ebadian, who ran out in the Triumph hurdle 12 months ago. Fair Along, running at his 6th festival, been placed 3 times at this meeting. Karabak, who was second in the Ballymore last year behind Mikhail Dagenet. No match for big bucks earlier this season. Catch It, the 2008 champion hurdle winner and the winner of the Triumph in 2007. Live for It, down from Scotland. Pulled up here last time, needs to do better than that. Oscar Dan, pretty solid horse, Grade 1 winner at Fairyhouse in December. Powerstation, in the words of his rider Andrew McNamara, is a little bit slow but stays very well. Sentry Duty, interesting runner, up in distance, very fresh, and he needs to be. Tidal Bay, a winner of an Arkle here and successful on this course last time out, impressively. Time for Rupert, slowly improving, second to Tidal Bay here last time out. And War of Attrition, winner of the 2006 Cheltenham Gold Cup, has won his last 2 hurdle races. A Gold Cup winner, a champion hurdler, and a world hurdle winner in the same race coming up.
War of Attrition.
Bucks, as you say, been right back down now into around the 5 to 6 mark. It's Sentry Duty is very, very weak in the market. So too Time for Rupert. It's War of Attrition that everyone wants to be on each way up against Big Bucks.
That's the best mating closure in the background as the field for the Ladbrokes World Hurdle wheel in for action. Big Bucks just gone back a shade of odds on our man to call. The big 3-mile hurdling championship, Simon Holt.
This is a race that just seems to have grown and grown in stature, Alistair. In the recent years, we've had some really fine winners, the likes of Barracuda, Ingles Drever 3 times. Iris's Gift, gosh, he was a good horse, didn't quite fulfill his potential. So we've had a good run, and Big Bucks looks well up to standard. Last year beating Punchestown in this. And can he do it again? They're coming forward now, and they're off. And War of Attrition, the 2006 Cheltenham Gold Cup winner, is sent straight into the lead by Davy Russell from Fair Along and Ebadian the Grey. Then Catch It back in 4th, Time for Rupert, close up, Live for It, and out wide Tidal Bay. Big Bucks in the big noseband, red sleeves, red cap, easy to spot, held up in the early stages by Ruby Walsh, skips over the first cleanly. Cape Tribulation, Karabak towards the back of the field. Also out the back, Cousin Vinny. And Sentry Duty held up, and he'll be delivered late in all likelihood by Barry Geraghty as they clear the second. Interesting to see both McCoy and Geraghty behind Ruby Walsh. There might be a bit of stalking going on here, just maybe trying to take advantage of a flat spot. Big Bucks, rather like Ingles Drever used to do in the middle of the race. At some stage in a race, he tends to come off the bridle, but he does stay very well. And Paul Nicholls, his trainer, always maintains he's got plenty of speed as well. War of Attrition, Fair Along, Ebadian, Time for Rupert, Live for It and Catch It together in 5th and 6th as they approach the next. Then Tidal Bay, Powerstation, Big Bucks. And they're followed by Cape Tribulation, Karabak on the inside, Sentry Duty, Cousin Vinny, and Oscar Dan in the orange jacket towards the rear, just ahead of Sentry Duty. So War of Attrition. In the colours successful aboard Weapons Amnesty in the RSA chase yesterday. War of Attrition, now an 11-year-old, leading Fair Along in 2nd. Ebadian is 3rd, Time for Rupert, and then Catch It, followed by Live for It on the inside, Tidal Bay in the noseband, Big Bucks, Powerstation, Karabak, Cousin Vinny, Cape Tribulation, Oscar Dan, and Sentry Duty. 6 to 5 on the returned SP for Big Bucks here as they run down the side of the course, still on this first circuit, and approach the next flight of hurdles. And the War of Attrition and Fair Along, not much to choose between them there as they make their way towards the home turn on the long approach to flight number 6 of the 12. Ebadian on the outside is just 3rd, Time for Rupert on the inside, and then follows Catch It from Live for It, Tidal Bay. Big Bucks still held up towards the inner. as they race towards this flight in front of the stands. And further back, Powerstation, Karabak, Cape Tribulation, Cousin Vinny, Sentry Duty second last, and Oscar Dan Dan in last place. Front two pressing on. They've got about 3 or 4 lengths on Everdian. War of Attrition on the inside of Fair Along at the next, and jumping this together and fluently too. Everdian landing just third, though Time for Rupert now driving up his inside. 3 lengths to catch it, just ahead of Live For It, then Tidal Bay. Big Bucks is next, seems to be going all right, followed by Karabak, Powerstation, Cape Tribulation, Cousin Vinny, Sentry Duty, and at the rear of the field still is Oscar Dan Dan. They complete a lap of the track in this Ladbrokes World Hurdle, the feature race on day 3 of the Cheltenham Festival, and War of Attrition continues to make it narrowly to Fair Along. On the outside is Everdian. Time for Rupert is tracking them in 4th place, followed by Catch It, then Live For It as they jump the first down the back. Big Bucks is just in behind those, the odds-on favourite defending his title. Karabak is just on the inside of Big Bucks. Sentry Duty still held up out the back as they jump the next. Lovely jump from War of Attrition there, just landed with a fractional advantage over Fair Along. Everdian on the outside, the grey, and they're closing up behind. Time for Rupert, Catch It, Big Bucks is closer. Live For It up the inside, clustering together. Cousin Vinny in a yellow jacket improving. Powerstation, Tidal Bay, they're all jockeying for position. They're all moving into challenging positions as they race now up the hill towards the 3rd last flight, but they're a very long way from home still. Sentry Duty just at the back of the leading pack, just drawing a little closer. War of Attrition from Time for Rupert, then Fair Along as they jump the next. Everdian, Big Bucks landing in 5th place there, travelling well from Catch It coming off the bridle. Karabak in behind them, Live For It, Powerstation, then Cousin Vinny to the outside, and now making the top turn, it's still Davy Russell on War of Attrition, William Kennedy on Time for Rupert challenging, followed by Fair Along. Big Bucks is looking awesome at the moment, the favourite, going incredibly well in 4th place. Looks as though he can pick them up any time he wants to. Everdian is behind these from Karabak. A lot of the others are flat to the boards, but Will Kennedy just having a little half glance there on Time for Rupert, and he may be the one that Big Bucks has to beat here as they run down to the 2nd last. Time for Rupert just getting on top of War of Attrition, jumping 2 out. Time for Rupert from War of Attrition. Big Bucks, then Fair Along, Catch It under pressure. Powerstation, Karabak, and then Cousin Vinny racing for the final turn. Time for Rupert making the best of his way home, but Big Bucks still hard on the bridle here, and now looms large from War of Attrition. Then Everdian, Powerstation behind these. A very long run, a lung-bursting run to the final flight, and Big Bucks is absolutely cantering alongside Time for Rupert. Then Everdian, Karabak is chasing these hard with Powerstation and Cousin Vinny, but it's all over Big Bucks surely if he jumps the last here. He's going to jump it alongside Time for Rupert, but he's going much better. Here's the last Big Bucks. Riley just stepped at it a bit. Time for Rupert trying to fight back, but Ruby Walsh now shakes up the favourite, and he kicks a length clear. He goes 2 lengths clear, and this is a great staying hurdler, and Big Bucks wins his 2nd World Hurdle. It was never in doubt. Time for Rupert in 2nd, Powerstation 3rd from Karabak, then Everdian, Oscar Dan Dan, Tidal Bay, Cousin Vinny, Live For It and Fair Along. Catch It behind those, then War of Attrition and Cape Tribulation. Well, he's made hacks of them here. Big Bucks in the hands of Ruby Walsh, his 27th festival winner now, extending his lead in the all-time Jockeys Championship at this meeting. A super confident ride on a horse that was travelling well all the way, and he just had to shake him off after the last to beat Time for Rupert. And it just really was never in doubt. Good opposition, made to look really ordinary by a very special staying hurdler.
Well, it's another one of those Walsh people on board a winner at Cheltenham. Well done, Ruby.
He's a special horse, isn't he?
That was something else.
He absolutely balled today, man. Cheers.
There you go. Okay.
Cup winner and a champion hurdle winner. Now he was Stairs hurdle winner all in the one race. Fair done on Chuck, thanks. Cheers, Dave.
What, just out of interest, was that little bit of paper from AP on the way round?
Later on, man, I gave it to him in a bread ring after the last race. Just slagging, but I knew, like, he is a horse you wouldn't want to be in front too long on, but I knew the ones that I fancied, like Karabak and Century Duty, those were going to follow me, so I had to ride him a bit closer to the pace. But we learned in Newbury earlier in the year that he can be ridden closer to the pace, and he just has a terrific engine, and was as good around the jumping as I've ever had off him.
Well done.
Well, with me now, Paul